Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Rachael Wanogho, also known as Rayche Riches. In today's video, we're going to be talking about scholarships in the UK. Now, I know a lot of you have been trying to find out how you can get a scholarship. How do you go about the process? Is it difficult? I've been getting like loads of questions in regards to that. So, being that I am not on a scholarship, however, I do have friends who have scholarships or who had scholarships, Ibukun and Kelechi, and they will be sharing with us today their experience on how they went about getting their own scholarship and things that you should likely do. So I've put together the questions that you guys sent to me, and hopefully this video is able to clarify the thoughts that has been disturbing your mind, and hopefully you find this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, make sure you turn on notifications, and drop a comment, drop a like. Make sure you enjoy this video. So let's get right into it.
And I was a master's student at Lancaster University.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelechi and I am a Master's of Business Administration student at the University of Essex here in the UK.
I would say research, shooting your shots with staff, and applying.
So there's so many ways to get a scholarship in the UK. Lots of UK universities offer scholarships, and there's different kinds of scholarships from partial scholarships to full scholarships. So there's a lot of available scholarships, and the best way to get one is to go online, do some research about the kind of scholarship you're looking to get, find out what the application process is like, find out what the requirements are and if you're eligible and all of those things.
I wouldn't be able to directly comment on that, but I do believe that scholarship panels evaluate people aside from grades. Sometimes grades are the initial filter, so they might say they want, a specific grade for you to even pass the first stage. However, I don't believe that they would necessarily say that, oh, we only want a person with a 2-2. So I'll just say shoot your shots, look for scholarships that fit what you're looking for, your spec, and just apply.
Chances are pretty high. There are some scholarships that don't care about what your first degree result was. They really just want to know who you are now and all of that, while there are others who are particular, say, oh, you have to have a 2-1 or you have to have had a first class. So again, it's finding out the scholarship that you want to apply for and finding out what the requirements or eligibility is.
So yes, it does depend on the type of scholarship. Some scholarships are particularly for maybe a specific type of course or for a specific type of school. If you're maybe applying to, like, I don't know, Commonwealth. I don't know if it's the Commonwealth, but I'm just giving an example. Some particular bodies are specific to specific schools, excuse me. So some scholarships are particular to courses, countries, because I know some are specific to UK, US, or Europe. So that's what I would say for that. It really depends. And then documents or criteria needed. So for me, I got the NOMHABU scholarship. It's a scholarship that was originally intended to be given to a student of quantitative finance in the Lancaster University Management School. However, in my year, they didn't have anybody's ticket, so they gave it to me. The scholarship was in memory of a staff who was Ghanaian, as far as I remember. Yeah, I think he's Ghanaian. Who passed away, so it was sort of like a memoriam for him. And I didn't apply for it. It's usually that once you've applied to Lancaster University Management School and you have a course, or you applied for a qualifying course within management school, then they automatically enroll you into this sort of scholarship shortlist. So I didn't apply, so I wouldn't be able to say documents specifically. However, because I did normal applications, it would just be, I don't remember if I submitted my CV, but I know I submitted like a transcript and my personal statement, so basic stuff. But then also I kind of share my own story for the scholarship. So for me, I initially applied to Lancaster. I asked if they had any funding. I was pretty much very honest, like, guy, I don't get money. Okay, no, well, I don't have enough funds for the school fees. Do you have any funding available? And they offered me money off of my school fees. So usually if you go to first, I'd imagine in Lancaster they do offer you money off. So I got money off initially, which was about 5 to 6 grand. I can't remember right now, but I told them it's not enough, so I'm going to defer to next year. So I actually deferred my program, and then I was actually speaking to the university representative in Nigeria, because they have one. I'd imagine they have for each country, but I spoke to the one in Nigeria, and maybe 10 days after I deferred, she contacted me and said, oh, something has come up, are you willing to take it? There's a scholarship. And I was like, fam, I'm not going to collect scholarship. So that's how I got mine. I was very honest with them that I didn't have enough funding, and was there something available. I spoke to staff, I spoke to the school rep, and I did my research. Really,
it's totally dependent on the type. So I'm going to talk about 4 scholarships. For the 4 scholarships that I applied for, and then I'll also try to hammer a bit on the one that I got. So first off, there's the Chevening scholarship. Now, Chevening scholarship is the UK government scholarship to which they give to students all over the world every year. So the process for application is pretty simple, and it's all online. And I know that the requirements or the criteria or the documents needed are, I think you have to have written IELTS, and you have to have gotten a certain score. I think about 6.5 minimum, or 7 at the minimum in all across the board. And I know that you also need to write some essays and have your transcript. So different scholarships have different requirements. The Nigerian scholarships, like NDDC scholarship, NLNG scholarship, those ones, the basic documents required are documents like your university certificates, your NYC certificates. Some of them require your transcripts, the basic, the usual suspects.
I'll say it's very high. It's very high because I'd imagine that most scholarships I even get to as international students anyways, so it's very high. Just do your research. Like I say, research and apply.
So I have talked about Chevening scholarship, I've talked about NLNG, I've talked about NNPC. The 4th one is the Essex MBA Dean's Award and Scholarship, which is one I got. Chances are really, really high. Like I was mentioning earlier, some universities have dedicated scholarships that they give to students all year long. They have dedicated scholarships to students from African countries. They have dedicated scholarships to people of a certain either origin, or maybe there's a lot of them. I really can't list them all out, but the information is available online, so just feel free, go online and search and you find it. So I, as an international student, I was surprised when I actually got the scholarship. It was a 50% tuition off my tuition scholarship, which was a really good offer, because in addition to that, I also got the early bird discount, which was an additional £4,000 or £3,000 off my school fees. And so as opposed to paying £20,000 for the MBA, I ended up paying just about £6,000. So yeah.
So I didn't apply necessarily, but then like I mentioned before, from the time I deferred my offer to the time that the school rep got back to me, it was about 10 days. So I think about a week they got back to me, but I don't know what the actual process is.
I received feedback in a matter of weeks actually. So for Chevening scholarship, Chevening scholarship opens in August and it closes in November. Now, apart from all the other documents that you need to send out, you also have to write some essays. You have to the entire application process is really tedious, and not like tedious, but it's something that you have to really pay rapt attention to, so that you get it right. So you submit in November, and then by January or February they start to give feedback to people. And I know that after that they do like a short listing where you now have to go for an interview, and then after the interview you get chosen for Chevening. As a matter of fact, they just, I don't know if it's because of Corona, but I know that they just released the first set of names for the people chosen for Chevening this year, just yesterday actually. So different scholar, NLNG, NDC never got back to me after because I had to write some exams and stuff. They never got back to me, and that's one of the downsides of the Nigerian scholarships, the fact that they don't provide feedback. It would have helped better if they gave feedback. And then the one for my uni, after I got admission, I did the interview. It took me about 2 weeks before I got the scholarship/Dean's Award.
I did not, but I'll say it depends on the scholarship type. Some might request it, but I have no idea. But I didn't, and maybe it's because I did my A-levels in this country, I'm not sure, but I didn't have to.
Some scholarships require you to write an English exam. Like I mentioned earlier, Chevening, for example, you need to write the IELTS exam. Some others don't require you writing an English exam. Some of them are fine with WAEC results. Some of them are fine with you getting like an exemption letter to say, oh, this person has learned in English all their life, and so they don't need to write an English exam or something. There's different ways.
Yes, I know some scholarships require you to actually submit an admission letter. This, at least from what I know, it's like all these what's it called, ptdf, is it ptdf, I think I'm saying that right, ptdf, LNNG, those scholarships, Niger Delta scholarships in Nigeria. So they're very, I know some of them are specific about the fact that you need to have had an admission letter already. So again, it depends on criteria of the scholarship. Just look through so that you know that, okay, I need to have applied to a school first before I even start applying for this type of scholarship.
Absolutely. All the scholarships I applied for, NNNG, NDC, Chevening, and even the one in my uni, they were all after I had gotten admission already. In fact, some scholarships will say to you that one of the prerequisites for applying is that you should have admission already. Maybe you should have a conditional offer. So I know that UK unis give you a conditional offer when they first accept you, and then they say, okay, that this offer is subject to you fulfilling certain conditions. So the conditions could be maybe submitting some documents. Conditions could be you paying a deposit or something. So like I said earlier, information is available online. I didn't use any agents, nobody. I literally just went on my computer, went online, and I found all the details I needed. So please utilize the information available to you online on the internet. There's so much information, and I'm also available to help. If you need guidance or you need help answering questions that I can't answer in this video, please feel free to reach out. How did I begin the process? I literally went online. I knew the uni, I knew the course I wanted to do. I started to look out for universities that would give me that course and would give like that were in an area I liked, in a part of UK that I liked. I was also considering the cost. I was considering lots of things, but at the end of the day, after considering all of that, I then picked a uni or picked a couple of unis, applied. Then I said, okay, how do I fund this thing? How do I get scholarships? So also be very open when you're applying to these unis, interacting with them. One of the most important things is that these guys are available and ready to help at every point in time. So ask questions. I was very clear and I was always open. I was asking as much questions as I could ask, and they were always willing to answer.
So I would say available, research. If you don't do research, you won't actually know what's available out there. And suitable, it really depends on your circumstances. So some people are looking for partly funded scholarships. So it means that maybe a portion of your school fees is covered, while some wants fully funded scholarship. So suitability is really subjective as to what you want. I know for me, my undergrad, if you were from specific countries and Nigeria was part of those countries, you could get £2,000 off your school fees. Although this meant that every year they reviewed our grades and we had to get above 60%. So it wasn't like, oh, every year they slap on money off your fees. It was a case of, you're coming from this country, we give you the scholarship, and you have to keep up your grades to maintain it year on year. So back to the question, so availability would really be about researching. So you might even find out that a school is willing to give you money off because of where you're from, the country of origin, and then suitability excuse me, will depend on you, because if you're Nigerian, then of course you qualify. It really depends.
There's some people who just provide information on scholarships, some websites or some groups, some forums or whatever. So feel free to go online and you find all this information. You know the one that's suitable for you by checking the requirements. You know the one that's suitable for you by checking the eligibility, the people who are eligible, or you know, there's always some like eligibility requirements attached to every scholarship. So check, see if you're eligible. There's some that are for women only, there's some that are for people from African countries, there are some that are for specific courses. There's so many, like tons and tons. Some I didn't apply for because I was already like kind of confident that I'll get this particular one, and I ended up being disappointed, but God did not allow the enemy to shame me.
So for this question, I was like, fund? Not sure, because professors, excuse me, are not necessarily going to fund your studies except it's a personal project. However, because I said you can shoot your shots, excuse me. You can shoot your shots with uni staff and literally send them an email saying, hello, I am interested in this topic and I'm looking for sponsorship or funding available, or bursary or grants. So you can reach out to them for questions and I'm sure they'll be able to lead you in the right direction. But funding, I don't think so.
I don't know about that. I do know, however, that some, like for PhDs and some universities offer like lots of scholarships for all of those things.
So I applied to 2 before I got the one at Lancaster. The 2 were in Loughborough University. My sister goes there, so I wanted to go to Loughborough to do my master's back then. The first one was a Dean's Award scholarship, I think, and the second was an enterprise one. So the Dean's Award, I think I had to write an essay or something. Then for the enterprise one, I had to create a video sort of highlighting and exhibiting the idea that I had that I want to do an entrepreneurship plan from, sort of like a pitch kind of. So I applied to before Lancaster, and then funny enough, so I applied to Loughborough University, Durham and Lancaster. All of them gave me money off my school fees. So for these universities, if you did get a first class, they would give you money off your school fees. Again, it was about £5,000–6,000. So I did get money off from all these schools, but I just felt like that money is not just enough. You kind of need to top it up a bit. So I applied to 2 before Lancaster, and again Lancaster didn't apply, but luckily, thank God, I did get awarded a scholarship.
I applied for 4, I think, the ones I remember, because that period, it took me 1 whole year to plan my my master's program. So that period I was just applying anywhere and anyhow. So the ones I know that I really focused my energy on are NNPC, NLNG, Chevening, and then the one I got from my uni.
I sent Rachel the links, so I hope she puts them up. But there's scholarshippositions.com, there's findamasters.com, worldscholarshipforum.com, opportunitydesk.org, and Shell, NNPC, ptdf, Commonwealth. There's a couple of ones that are like more geared towards Nigeria, but the websites I initially mentioned are sort of generic ones. You can just research on what you want. So happy searching, happy applying, and good luck.
I really don't know, but one final thing I'm going to say is the fact that Nairaland is an absolute gold mine. But be careful when you're consuming information from Nairaland. Not all the information is verifiable. However, there's lots of forums where people are talking about things. Like I had a permanent spot on a Nairaland page where I would just go to get information, whether it was on Chevening scholarship, whether it was on NNPC, like literally just type in any keyword, type in scholarships for students in UK, anything, and you'd see people giving you real-time personal experiences, real-time information, and all of those things. And yeah, That's it. Like I said earlier, I'm available to answer any questions you might have. Feel free to reach out whenever. Bye.
So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was very insightful. Some of the websites where you can check for scholarship opportunities are in the description box down below. Make sure you utilize them, and if you found anyone helpful, you can always come back to drop me a comment, tag me on Instagram at Rayche Riches, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to use the comment section down below and we will try our best possible to help you out. I would also like to say a huge thank you to Ibukun and Kelechi for their help in putting this production together. Don't hesitate to share this video to someone who might need it, and you can watch either of these two playlists to check for other questions that I've probably answered in regards to graduate study and life abroad. See you in my next video. Bye.